EGGO Waffles have been off shelves for nearly 20 years. Here's what I did about that. What's up everyone? After 3 years worth of attempts, it's time to remake EGGO Waffles. So for this first method, I am kind of cheating a bit because I'm using a stuffed waffle maker. But if you are using a regular waffle iron instead of something like this, I've got something for you later in the video. You'll also need your favorite pancake and waffle mix, 2 to 4 cups of blueberries, but if you're using strawberries, make sure they're cut up and mashed beforehand, 1 to 2 cups of water, 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, and for added flavor, I also like to add a half cup of bai, and a 1/4 teaspoon of stevia, or the equivalent of any sweetener of choice. So to start off with the
gooey fruit filling,
it has to be pie-like. Like starting out, I actually used jam, something like this, and fresh fruit, but with the jam, when you heat this up, especially with non-stick ones, you don't want to have anything running into your waffle press. But this is where you combine the cornstarch, water, sweetener, and optional, but I'm gonna keep talking about it, bai, into a saucepan on medium-high heat, but the higher the better. Once it's thick enough, stir in the blueberries and keep stirring on and off for about 15 minutes. And you'll notice it's thicker and much darker in color once it's done. Or what I did, you can actually make the filling beforehand and refrigerate it overnight. Doing that, I found that it makes the filling a lot easier to handle when you're putting it in the waffle iron. You'll see that just a bit later. And while your filling simmers or refrigerates, you can get your waffle mix ready. Today I'm using a Birch Bender's plant protein mix. It's actually worth noting that this entire method's 100% vegan friendly. You can start loading the press once the mix and filling are both ready. I'm actually gonna get a different spoon for the filling. Every waffle mix is gonna be different depending on the brand or if you make one yourself. Sometimes I recommend refrigerating it, but if you know your mix best, keep an eye on that. And make sure the top is completely covered, otherwise the filling will start to leak into the waffle press, like I said earlier. We'll do 10 minutes on that. That's starting to steam. But for those with a regular waffle iron, this is actually far easier. What I did was I took Pillsbury Grand's biscuit dough. I cut those halfway, almost butterflying them. I filled them with filling like a pocket, then threw them in my regular waffle iron until that was ready. It's much simpler, much easier to clean, and you get a pretty similar result. This was actually from my first attempt. But after you see this one, you might want to consider your options. Would you take a look at that? Hey, Hemi, do you want first dibs?
Yeah.
Hot off the press. So you don't even need syrup for this because everything's inside.
all the stuff you love on your EGGO Waffle is inside your EGGO Waffle.
Every kind of waffles EGGO didn't make, you can actually make these yourself. You can literally fill these with any kind of filling you want. Chicken if you want to do stuffed chicken in waffles, scrambled eggs, omelet waffles. If you end up trying this yourself, feel free to let me know because I might give them a try. Well, that about wraps up this video, and once you're ready for lunch, check out my last cooking video where I remade Ed's secret sauce from Nickelodeon's Good Burger. I'll see you over there. Have a great day. Ugh.
Oh my god.
One take wonder for the ending.